I want to welcome both of you, all of you, everyone who's listening via the recording to my presentation called The Benefits of an Ayurvedic Seasonal Cleanse. I'm Susan Chapman, and as you can see from the slide, these are my qualifications. I am a Chopra Center certified Vedic educator, which means I'm certified in meditation, the 7 spiritual laws of yoga, and Ayurvedic lifestyle, perfect health Ayurvedic lifestyle. I also have a master's degree in yoga studies, a Master of Fine Arts in screenwriting from UCLA. I'm a 200-hour certified yoga instructor through Yoga Alliance. I'm a 500-hour through Yoga Alliance. I also have certifications in yoga therapy, and I'm a Yoga Alliance certified educational provider. And I want to let everyone know from the beginning that even though we're talking about an Ayurvedic lifestyle, the information that I'm sharing with you is not in place of any medical advice. So if you're starting something new, if you have medical issues and you need to speak with your physician before you make a complete change of lifestyle, because as I want to make clear, I have a lot of qualifications, but I am not a medical doctor. So the reason we're talking about a seasonal cleanse right now has to do with the fact that we're at the change of seasons. So we're moving from summer into fall. Right now I'm up at Asilomar, which is in Monterey, California, and it's a little bit cooler up here. But in some places of the country, it's already starting to get very cool. In some places of the world, we're on the opposite seasons, right? So some places are moving from winter to spring, say in Australia, but in the United States, we're moving from summer to fall. And it's different temperatures in different parts of the country, but generally speaking, the change of seasons remains the same. And so in Ayurveda, Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old medical system that originated in India, and it's a little bit different than the Western medical system. Ayurveda is all about maintaining good health and becoming self-referential and knowing when your body may be a little bit off. So rather than addressing things as we become ill, it's all about trying to remain healthy and doing so in line with nature, the seasonal rhythms, the circadian rhythm of night and day, in line with our mind-body constitution, and those natural aspects of the self. And so when I'm talking about the benefits of an Ayurvedic seasonal cleanse, I'm talking about things that we can do for ourselves to help us maintain good health. And in Ayurveda, one of the most important things that we can discuss is something called Agni. That's a Sanskrit word which means digestive fire. So many things in Ayurveda, essentially all things in Ayurveda, focus and revolve around this concept of digestive fire, or Agni. And to have a strong digestive fire is what keeps us very healthy. And when we talk about digestion in Ayurveda, we're talking about not just the things that we ingest in terms of, say, food or drink, but we're also talking about emotional digestion as well. And so we want to have a good digestive fire that helps us take in the things that we need, metabolize them how we need to, and release the things that we don't. And so the benefit of the seasonal cleanse is that we improve that digestive fire. We decrease something which in Sanskrit is called ama, or the physical and emotional toxicity. So we might have, so if, say, for example, someone has poor digestion, they can have an accumulation of this toxic residue in the body, which then can throw other things in the bodily system off. If someone has poor emotional digestion, we can be taking in things that we can no longer digest or metabolize properly, and then that can have implications, say, in forms of like depression or other things that can come up or play a role in that, I should say. They're not the only cause. But then when we do a seasonal cleanse, we can help return ourselves to that state of homeostasis, which just means balance, and good health. And so those are the main reasons we want to do it. We want to take a couple of days around the time of the change of seasons. In the Western world, we may have to do it more on a weekend as opposed to, say, in the middle of the week, right on the time of the change of seasons, depending on what's going on. And we want to do it to improve the digestive fire, to reduce the toxicity in our bodies, and to return to a state of homeostasis or balance and health. In Ayurveda, we have something called the 3 doshas, which are the 3 mind-body constitutions. And everyone is a combination of all of these mind-body constitutions, but some have a little bit more than others. So for example, the first dosha is called the Vata dosha. And there are 5 elements in Ayurveda. So there's air, space, fire, water, and earth. Those are the 5 elements that Ayurveda says we're composed of. The Vata dosha people, the people with the mind-body constitution of Vata, they're very creative, they're very changeable, they're very flexible. They have the qualities of air and space, and that makes sense. Air is very changeable in the form of wind. Space allows creativity to flow. So people who have this mind-body constitution are referred to as the Vata dosha. And then the Pitta dosha is a combination of fire and water. And the people who are predominantly of the Pitta dosha are very strong-willed, very fiery people. They're a lot of fun to be around. They're leaders. They really can get things done. And they are like liquid fire. That's a good way to put it. They're like liquid fire. People want to follow this liquid fire because they're dynamic and exciting. And then we have the Kapha dosha, which is a very sturdy dosha. It's water and earth. So if you think of the elements of water and earth, they create structure. And people who are of this mind-body constitution are very supportive and loving and reliable, and they're very faithful, and they're really wonderful people to be around. So we can be predominantly one of these mind-body constitutions. We can be a combination of them. And we are really all a combination of a little bit of each of them, but some as more dominant, one or more may be more dominant in us than another. And this is really important as we get on to why we would do a seasonal cleanse for different types of mind-body constitutions. The 3 doshas have their own digestive powers. So think back to where I just talked about Agni, the 3 forms of the digestive power of being able to digest things well or poorly, be that emotional or physical, or food and drink. So the Vata dosha, the Vata mind-body constitution, tends to have irregular digestion. So people who have this mind-body constitution don't necessarily eliminate toxins very well. Things can get stored in the body. And the Pitta dosha is able to digest anything, which is pretty amazing. So they can go eat a bag of Doritos and they can digest it and feel pretty well, except that after a while, digesting anything that is not really good for the body can then remain in the cells, and that can lead to other issues down the road. And then the Kapha dosha can have sluggish digestion. So they're not as irregular as the Vata dosha, which is a dry dosha, because if it's air and space, it's dry and cold. It can be very dry and cold. The Kapha dosha can just be very slow and sluggish, going along with that sturdiness. And so they have their own digestive issues that need to be addressed. And this is why the seasonal cleanse for all of the doshas is so important. Not only are there Vata, Pitta, and Kapha mind-body types, but we're also in line with the circadian rhythms of nature. And so different times on our clock have different important doshic times. So for example, the Vata time of day is 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that's a time where we're very creative. And this is for all people, regardless of their mind-body constitution. It's an excellent time for meditation. The Kapha time is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And this is the best time to exercise in the morning so that we get a lot of daily energy, because Kapha is very sluggish. So if we're doing our exercise, we can really boost ourselves up and have a lot of energy. But it's also the best time to fall asleep at night. So we want to be in bed, according to Ayurveda, prior to 10 p.m. so that we can fall asleep at night. But the Pitta time is really all about digestion. And so Pitta is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So in the daytime, that's the best time to eat the largest meal of the day. And when I talk more about the seasonal cleanse, when we do the Arbonne 30 Days to Healthy Living cleanse, for example, there are 2 shakes in the day, 2 protein shakes. And if we do one in the morning and one at night, and we eat our largest meal in the middle of the day, that would be Ayurvedically balanced, to have the largest meal in the middle of the day. The sun is highest in the sky, which means the digestive fire in the body is the strongest. And then you want to be done eating that meal by 2 p.m. But at night, when it's time to go to bed, so if you've gone to bed during Kapha time before 10 p.m., then 10 p.m. to about 12 or even up to 2 is the best time for the brain to begin its detoxification processes. So it's a different kind of digestion. You have the bodily digestion from eating your meal, your largest meal, 10 to 2. But then if you're in bed by 10 o'clock, then you have the best time for the brain to detoxify as well. So you're detoxifying in body and in mind. And so this is the daily routine that Jake and I follow for a seasonal cleanse. And the seasonal cleanse needn't be long. So the seasonal cleanse, like I said, could be over a weekend. So say we started on a Friday night and then we end it, we go back to a more beneficial routine. We don't just go all the way back to retoxifying our bodies right away, but we go to a more beneficial routine on Monday morning. So that gives us 2 full days and an evening to be detoxifying ourselves. And so our morning routine is that we rise before 6 in the morning. We go to the restroom, and ideally, according to Ayurveda, you want to eliminate fully. So that is eliminating evacuating the bowels as well. So you want to properly eliminate. You brush your teeth and you shower. And then we do a little bit of light asana. Now, asana is just yoga poses. For those who don't know, asana is just yoga poses. And you don't have to do something that you've seen where people are doing very strong sun salutations. You can, but you don't have to. It can be something done on your back on a mat. And I have that we include twists in those things. So a common yoga twist is you're on your back, your knees are bent, knees come to the chest, the arms are out in a T, and you can roll the knees over to the right, which would then begin the process of wringing out the ascending colon, which is where digestion starts. Then bring the knees to the center and roll to the left, and that would begin the process of addressing the descending colon, which is the latter part of digestion. So when you're doing a detoxification routine, twists are very important because they help activate the digestive system. And so then after that, we meditate. And so we meditate for 30 minutes. And I'll talk to you more about meditation again when we talk about nighttime, but we meditate for 30 minutes twice a day. And then, so we do so in the morning after the light asana. Then I like to keep a little gratitude journal, and that's very short. I just write a few things down that come to mind that I'm grateful for the day. And after that, that's when we have breakfast. And so I'm going to share with you what we do for breakfast. So for breakfast, I start with the probiotics. So I have been using the Arbonne probiotic, which you put into a little water, but you don't put it into hot water because that can kill off some of the beneficial bacteria. You want to put it into water that I use just slightly cooler than room temperature. In Ayurveda, you would have a glass of warm water with some lemon. You can do that first if you're strictly practicing Ayurveda, but don't mix it with the probiotic because you wouldn't want the probiotic helpful bacteria to be destroyed. You want to keep those intact. And then I use the Arbonne detoxifying tea, which has fennel in it. It contains fennel and other herbs. It does not contain caffeine, just so that you know. And it has so the fennel in the tea is really, really good for digestion, particularly for the Vata dosha. So the fennel in the tea is really excellent. It's a really mild tea and it's delicious. And then I make a smoothie with the protein powder, which I use a scoop of the protein powder and I use a scoop of the protein boost, so that even though I'm a Vata dosha, so the three doshas are associated with tastes that are beneficial for them. The Pitta dosha does really well to have a little sweet in their lives. The Kapha dosha doesn't do as well to have some sweet in their lives. They're better off having things that are more astringent. But the Vata dosha also does well with some sweet. But even though my particular mind body type is Vata dosha, I don't have a lot of sugar, so I use the protein powder in one scoop, and then the protein boost in another, and that's the perfect amount of sugar for me. The Pitta dosha might do very well with the protein powder because it has a lot of protein, but it also gives them the sweet they need. And the Kapha dosha might want to do what I do, which is a scoop of the protein powder and a scoop of the protein boost. And then when Jake and I do our Ayurvedic seasonal detox, we avoid coffee and alcohol for the days during that cleanse, because we're really trying to think about the toxins in our body. And the thing about, and Ayurveda will say this, that although we don't do this for weight loss per se, but what you can, especially as you're doing a longer cleanse, like the 30 days to healthy living, but some toxins are fat soluble. And so when you detoxify, you will be you can potentially take some of the excess fat in the body with it so that it takes the toxins out of the body. So it's really good to do this to also, if you're trying to kickstart some weight loss, you might notice a change right away when you do that. And so that would be our breakfast routine. In an Ayurvedic cleanse, you do not snack in between meals as a general rule. So when I'm talking to you about this, I am talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, not eating past 7 o'clock in the evening, but also just for these 2 days, not snacking in between. And then our daily routine for lunchtime is we eat our lunch from 10 to 2 p.m. It is the largest meal of the day. Just know that digestive fire is strongest. The sun is highest in the sky at that time of day. And even though it's a large meal, Ayurveda tells us we want to eat something that is soft, easily digestible. And so you can have soup or maybe something called khichdi. And I'm going to give you the recipe in just a second. Being mindful of soups, certain pre-made soups can have a lot of sodium. So if you have a sodium issue, you just want to make sure you're checking on that. But you definitely want to eat something that is very easily digestible. You want to let your digestive system sort of have a break and also help you detoxify the body. So this is the khichdi recipe that I'm going to be recording this and sharing this with you so you can look at this slide. This is a variation of the recipe from the Hot Belly Diet by Dr. Suhas Kashir. And it's a really wonderful midday thing to make for yourself. It's a 2-to-1 ratio of organic mung beans to rice. You would soak the beans to keep them soft. You'd put the amount of water that I have in there and some of the other ingredients. And in 20 or 30 minutes, you have your midday meal. And then I have some other tips that I want to share with you. If you have time, you can walk 10 to 20 minutes after each meal. So you may want to walk with your dog if you have a dog. If it's not too hot, like where I live in Southern California, it can be very hot midday. So sometimes in the middle of the day, I find that I might do a little asana indoors as opposed to walking outside. But we can walk in the morning, and then particularly after dinner is a good time to walk as well. 10 to 20 minutes just to help aid in digestion. Meditation we do before breakfast and dinner. So meditate without a lot of food in your belly because you're shifting the body's focus to digestion when you're eating. And so that can make you sluggish and tired. And it's very easy to fall asleep, for example, meditating when you have food in your stomach. And also it can become distracting. If you've got a lot of food in your stomach, you're thinking about that as opposed to focusing on meditation. And then you can also practice light asana before meditation, including the twists that I talked about, because again, we're trying to activate the digestive system. We want to nurture the ascending colon and then the descending colon. So twist right and then twist left. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a half an hour. It can be like 5 minutes. And so these are my breakfast, dinner, and other other tips. Just bookend your day with the protein drinks because they, again, you want to have the largest meal in the middle of the day. So if you start your day with a protein smoothie, and I'll give you some ideas of what I do with mine. Because I'm a Vata dosha, I also do well with sour. So I do berries sometimes, but I also just do the vanilla protein powder with chai masala spice, which has no sugar in it, but it has cinnamon, which is really good for keeping the blood sugar balanced. And so I make a chai masala vanilla protein smoothie, which I absolutely love. But you can do it with berries. The kapha dosha, they are fine with berries as well. In fact, all doshas do well with berries because there is some sweetness involved, but they're also a very balancing taste for pretty much anyone. So berries are the way to go with the protein smoothie. Kaphas also, because astringent is so good for them, they can add like kale or vegetables, and other doshas can too, but those are just my ideas. I also use the Arbonne greens because we're not getting a lot of vegetables in particular during this 2.5 days that we're cleansing. And so if you put your greens in one of your smoothies, you're getting all these phytonutrients, and Ayurveda is very, very focused on making sure that we get our phytonutrients. So you're still getting your phytonutrients when you're adding your greens to the smoothie. And you'll see, I'm going to show you a picture of all of the different things that I'm talking about, so you'll recognize them when we get to that time. Avoid snacking in between meals. Stay hydrated. avoid eating after 7 p.m. And I also use Arbonne fiber before bed because I am a Vata dosha. I do not necessarily eliminate well. And so I use the fiber in some tea before I go to bed. And I use the tea, the Arbonne tea with the fennel that I mentioned earlier. And I use that. And then when I wake up, then I can eliminate and begin my day. So that is another thing that you would want to include. And then I want to just say a word about sleep, that the best time to be in bed, as I said earlier, is during kapha time, but before pitta time. And this gives the brain the optimal amount of time for detoxification. So you want to be in bed before 10. This is about the emotional digestion that I talked about earlier. If you go to bed by 10, then you're allowing the brain to detoxify all of that time during pitta time. If you go to bed after 10, very often we get our second wind. And if we sleep too late into kapha time, which is after 6 in the morning, we begin to be sluggish. And even if we wake up and we've had a full 8 hours, maybe even 9 hours of sleep, we're feeling sluggish because that's the time of day we woke up. We woke up in a sluggish time of day. So we want to be in bed before 10, during kapha, but before pitta, and we want to give our brain the optimal time to detoxify. So we're digesting by day, the body, and we're digesting by night, the brain. Before I share with you how to order the things that I talked about, I want to share with you also our upcoming event. Please look for news on our upcoming Detox to Retox for the Holidays celebration event. But when I say retox, it's really just a little. Once you've started to detoxify your body, you might want to have like a piece of cheese, or you might want to have a glass of wine with your friends, but you'll find that when you've detoxified as much as you have, in the ways that I've been talking about, you really know how to do things even more in moderation. Moderation comes a lot easier, and you're ready to, after you've had a day or two where you've had some fun with your friends, you're ready to go back to nurturing yourself for a healthy lifestyle. So we are going to have that event. It's going to happen in October, and we're having our friends join us so that we can all do the 30 days to healthy living from a little bit towards the end of October right up until Thanksgiving. And so just please look for that information. I'll email it to you. And so these are all of the products that I've been talking about with you that I've been trying, and I absolutely love them. As I emailed some of you, and I shared with you that I was just so blown away by the things that I learned when I was at Buffy's with us, and I was at her event, and I was so blown away by all of the wonderful attributes that I learned about that Arbonne products have. They're pure, they're safe, they're beneficial in the sense that they're vegan, they're very often gluten-free, they're cruelty-free, they're kosher. There are so many amazing things. I emailed a number of you the sheet where you can see the list of ingredients so that you can understand what are actually in Arbonne products. And I find them to be completely in line with my yogic lifestyle. And so Jake and I have been integrating them very readily into our lives and on a daily basis. And so some of the things that you might want to get are the protein powder, the protein boost, the probiotics that I talked about. There's a whole array of products, the tea, that you can get. And this is the pricing if you're a preferred client, and you get a free gift, and you also get free shipping. And then you'll have this to start us off when we get together in October for our Detox to Retox Just a Little event. And so for more information, first of all, I want to take your questions, but before I do that, just if you want to contact me, here's my email. If you want any instruction, you can certainly, further instruction than what I've talked about, you can visit my website and reach out to me that way as well. And any kind of products that you would like to order, and I hope that you do, they've been really beneficial for all of us. You can just visit my Arbonne site as well. But in the meantime, if anybody has any questions, I'm very happy to take them at this time.
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Buffy.
So I love this information, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm very, very new to this Ayurvedic information, and I'm just loving it. And so most people probably that are going to be listening to this know this information already, but how do I find out what kind of dosha I am?
you can just go to chopra.com and type in the search box dosha quiz, and that's the quiz I sent everybody. So you may want to do that before you get a chance to talk to me again. Chopra.com dosha quiz is what you would type in the search box, and that will come up. But you'll see that it'll ask you questions about when you were, a child, and then what's happening now, and then that will give you an understanding.
Okay. And I'm just kind of blown away by how much the Arbonne products are in alignment with the Ayurvedic practices. Just because
Yeah, yeah.
I know that, but that's exciting.
Yeah, well, I was watching Tando's Corner. I was watching the different things. For those of you who are listening and are going to get the recording, when you go to the Arbonne site, there's a naturopath who gives a lot of information about how to integrate healthy products like these into your life. And she is behind a lot of the formulation discussions and the research and the information. And when I went to her corner, I was really surprised by how much of what she was talking about was so in line with Ayurveda. And that naturopathy really is very much in line with Ayurveda. And the only thing that I switched around that would suit Ayurveda better than for me, because I practice an Ayurvedic lifestyle more than what she mentioned, was that she just said have a full dinner. But I thought, well, that's so simple. Just move the dinner to lunch, and you do your protein drinks on the either side. Because even Dr. Suhas in his book, The Hot Belly Diet, talks about having protein drinks. The Hot Belly Diet is actually a 30-day cleanse, and that's what I'm going to be talking with people about when we do the Detox to Retox event, is how easily all of what we talked about today with the Arbonne things that Jake and I have been integrating fit in with this 30-day cleanse, because he talks so much about, like, well, have a protein shake for breakfast, and then he gives some suggestions of generic things, and they are exactly what Arbonne offers. So that's what we integrated into our Hot Belly Diet for a 30-day longer cleanse, and it was really quite amazing. So it really fits in beautifully.
Great.
So I don't know, Amy, do you have any questions? Oh, you're on mute. Hold on.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't have questions. I do have a statement, though. I like Buffy. I love the amount of alignment there and overlap there is here between what you know and teach and what Arbonne offers. I love the fact that there's an emotional detox component to what you
I know.
do. And I am thinking that we may want to offer that to people as well, because
Right.
I do think it all goes hand in hand. Yesterday, I watched the documentary Heal. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it.
And there's a lot about emotional toxicity,
Yeah.
how to let go of it.
Right.
And so I think we want to encourage everybody who does the physical part of this plan to also look at what they were holding on to that they could release
Right.
emotionally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. And Ayurveda is really, really, well, all of yoga, if you think about it, asana practice, meditation, Ayurveda are all about detoxifying the body and helping us connect with who we really are. Right. And who we really are as, and everybody has a different understanding of what that is, but peeling off those layers that that stand in our way. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I so appreciate it. And I look forward to our journey together. Please, as you retain my contact information, feel free to contact me at any time. I'm so happy to help you in all of these endeavors, how everything can fit in together, because an integrated lifestyle is a healthy lifestyle. And I'm happy to help you do that in any way. So thank you.